Greetings, YouTube. The doctor is in. Dr. Urius Papers here, coming at you with another commentary on Dungeons and Dragons. And today we are talking about the spell Circle of Death. And I've got the legacy version up here. We're going to look at the 2024 version compared to this. We're going to compare and contrast. I'm going to talk a little bit about a class that could possibly use this spell, and it could have some modifications on it. And I am going to present some past history of Circle of Death as well. So, but first, don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you like this video. Hit the like button. If you have any questions or comments, please leave a question or a comment. Don't forget to share the video, and don't forget to hit that notification bell. All right, so we got Circle of Death. Back in the day, we gave this a big fat F. This was a horrid spell. It was just a terrible spell. We're going to move the arrow right back over here. It was a 6th level spell with one action. It had a range of 150 feet with a 60-foot radius sphere. So that was one of the reasons why I'm guessing this was 6th level. And it was usable by sorcerers, warlocks, and wizards. Verbal, somatic, and material component. And it was the powder of a crushed black pearl worth at least 500, which was not consumed with the spell, but it did cost you 500 gold pieces to continue to cast this spell. So there's a whole bunch of horrible things. 500 gold pieces for a 6th level spell that had a 60-foot radius, and a 60-foot radius, bigger does not always equal better. So every creature within the radius must make a Constitution saving throw. So terrible save, not a great saving throw. Don't like con saves. They're probably the second worst thing to target next to strength. Everything took 8d6 necrotic damage, which is equal to a fireball. So again, bigger is not better. It does the same damage as a fireball. It just doesn't have the same radius. And then they take half as much on a failed save. Fireball is a 3rd level spell, and it is a dex saving throw. This is a 6th level spell, and it is a con saving throw. I don't think making it a 60-foot radius causes it to be a 6th level spell. And we gave this an F, and that was one of the reasons why. And then you could upcast it for another 2d6 per every slot above 6th level that you used. So let's take a look at the new version. The new version, the 2024 version, still a 6th level spell, still one action, still 150 feet, still a 60-foot radius, still verbal, somatic, and material, still costs you 500 gold pieces, still usable by sorcerers, warlocks, and wizards, still a con save. It's a 60-foot radius sphere now. Each creature in that area must make a con save. And now, instead of taking 8d6, it does 8d8. So let's take a look at our, and then of course, if you upcast it, it is upcast instead of 2d6. It is upcast for 2d8 for every spell slot above 6th level. Okay, so 8d6 is 8 times 3.5. Is 28 points of damage. That is the average a fireball does. 8d8 is 8 times 4.5 is 36. So for 3 levels, we got an improvement of a whopping 8 points of damage on average. Not great. Again, like I've said, this does not mean better. It just means a lot more creatures. That's it. So is it good at, let's say, crowd control? Sure, it's probably if you needed that much, but very rarely you're going to need a diameter of 120 feet. It's just going to get in the way. And it's not an evocation spell, so you can't shape it, so you can't protect people from it. And it's necromancy, which means there's a whole bunch of stuff, and I think there's a whole bunch more stuff that is resistant or immune to necrotic damage than there is fire damage. So let's take a look at Fireball. And here's Fireball here. 8d6 damage, 20-foot radius sphere, dex save. All that stuff is better, and it's a 3rd level spell. So if we clear this out and we were to cast this at 6th level, which would be the equivalent of Circle of Death, we get a d6 for every level above 3rd, so 4th, 5th, 6th. We get 3 more dice, and of course, this does 8d6, so we're going to be getting 9, 10, 11. So 11 times 3.5 is we're going to be doing 38 points of damage, not 36 points of damage. So right off the bat, just starting off, Fireball does more damage. Does 2.5 points more damage on average than Circle of Death. So again, Circle of Death, not a great spell. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to move this from an F, and we're going to move it up to a D. If I were a sorcerer, wizard, or warlock, I would not use this spell. Now, light domain clerics... Oh, we're looking at the wrong thing. Circle of Death. Circle of Death is getting a D, and it's still only sorcerer, warlock, and wizard. I just wouldn't even bother with this spell. There are much better 6th level spells than Circle of Death. Disintegrate comes to mind, a few things, so this is just not one that I would use. So let's get rid of the arrow, and we're giving this one a D now because of the increase in damage. But it's still not great. And let's take a look at a class that might be able to use this. So the old Necromancy, it's still the same. The Necromancy Wizard could use this if you have Grim Harvest, which you get at 2nd level, which is pretty easy to get. Once per turn, when you kill 1 or more creatures with a spell of 1st level or higher, you regain hit points equal to twice the level, 3 times the level if it was a School of Necromancy. So you could use this as a necromancer to regain some hit points. That is basically about it. Now, this particular spell, Circle of Death, didn't actually appear until 3rd edition. So let's take a look at it, what it was in 3rd edition. So here it is in 3rd edition. Circle of Death, it was a necromancy spell, also in the death domain. Sorcerer and wizard could use it. And it had a casting time of 1, it had a range, basically about the same range. 40-foot radius burst instead of a 60-foot, so it's 2 times the size of a fireball. A Circle of Death snuffs out the life force of living creatures, killing them instantly. The spell slays 1d4 hit dice worth of living creatures per caster level. Creatures with the fewest hit dice are affected first among creatures with equal hit dice. And it was a fort save, which negated. So we went to the fewest hit die creatures first, and then you went up from there. Those who are closest to the burst's point of origin are affected first. No creature of 9 or more hit die can be affected, and hit dice that are not sufficient to affect a creature are wasted. So, and it's a maximum of 20 d4. So you pulled out a bunch of d4s, you rolled them, and that's how many hit dice you just flat out killed. Still a 500 gold piece, crushed black pearl with the powder that you had to use for it. But this one was just instant death for a lot of different creatures. If you were fighting, so as a 6th level, as a sorcerer wizard who could cast at 6th level, you would have been 11th level. And that would have been 11d4 worth of hit die, which would have been, let's see here. 11d4, so that would be 11 times 2.5 is 27.5 hit dice worth of creatures, which means if you had 3 9 hit die creatures, or 8 hit die, let's say 8 hit die creatures, they were gone. They were just flat out snuffed out. So this actually was pretty good. It just flat out just snuffed things out. This was a good crowd control. It didn't do a lot to like boss monsters or anything, so it wasn't great in that aspect. But it was better than this. This is not a great spell. So, all right, that is what I have for everybody today. I appreciate everybody tuning in, and I will catch everybody